Consider two friends, Ted and Paul. They've worked together for several years in the same position, earning the same amount of money. For some reason, Paul always seems to be in a tight financial spot. He's constantly falling behind on bills, doesn't have any money in savings, always borrows money, and has no clue where his money is going. Ted is quite the opposite, seeming to have it all figured out. After all, Ted is usually the one lending money to Paul, and he just put down a down payment on a house. Paul is tired of scrambling to pay bills, so he approaches Ted to figure out where to get started. Many of us can relate to Paul, especially since the past few years have been anything but normal. But we don't have to stay in Paul's financial situation forever. Today, we're going to talk about how the Teds get rich and stay rich. I know you're curious, so let's dive in. Everyone has their own way of understanding money. People have different backgrounds, cultures, life experiences, and goals which shape how they view money. There are universal truths of money, but there's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to applying those universal truths to our individual finances. Let's start by looking at the roles of luck and risk in financial success. Both cannot be quantified, so we tend to ignore them. Humility when you play your money cards right, and forgiveness when you're wrong is key. And of course, focusing on what you can control. By understanding the role of luck and risk in financial success, you will be psychologically equipped to propel your finances forward. Next, we'll look at how easy it is to get caught up in the pursuit of more money without realizing that it can lead to regret. The key to financial success is setting realistic goals and then making sure that they don't keep rising beyond reach. This requires a clear understanding of what's realistic and achievable. This way, you can make sure that you're never left feeling like you're leaving money on the table and not achieving your financial goals. While investing, it's important that you leverage the power of compounding. This is a powerful way to make your money work for you. It is when your investments grow over time and your earnings generate even greater returns. Time is a key factor when it comes to compounding, as even small investments can lead to large numbers and become incredibly valuable if given enough time. The truth is, your journey will be hard. It's not easy to get wealthy, but it is even harder to stay wealthy. Getting money requires hard work, dedication, and a bit of luck. Staying wealthy, on the other hand, requires humility and frugality. Building wealth has little to do with your income than your ability to save money. It is a daily struggle against our nature to keep up with the Joneses. To save money, you need to spend less, desire less, and care less about what others think of you. This means cutting back on unnecessary luxuries or finding cheaper alternatives. It's about living below your means and learning to be content with what you have. That way, you're sure to stay consistent with your saving goals. In your mission of finding what works for you, keep in mind that long tails have tremendous influence in finance. This means that from your many decisions and the many financial mistakes you make, a small number of events can emerge to bring you great returns. That even if you're wrong half the time, you can still make a fortune. It pays not to give up, be patient, and wait for the right opportunity. Money can be used to gain control over time. With money, you can buy yourself freedom and the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. You can pursue your passions and create meaningful relationships without worrying about how much money you're making or where your next paycheck will come from. This is the highest form of wealth, as it allows you to make your own choices and live life on your own terms. No matter how much planning and preparation you do, you need to remember that although trends and patterns can help guide investors in making decisions, The economy and investments are often subject to outliers that can move the needle in unexpected ways. As such, what you should learn when mistakes happen is that the world is difficult to predict. The good news is, the invisible hands in the economy make sure that things don't stay too good or too bad indefinitely. It's important to have room for error, also known as margin of safety. Room for error is the gap between what you need to happen in order for your plans to succeed and what could happen. In other words, a backup plan. By adding this to your equation, you're sure that whatever happens, you will still be okay. It is like saying, I hope I make 10% returns on my investments this year, but if I make 4%, I'll still be okay. We all make financial decisions that we think are right at the time, but as our goals and circumstances change over time, those decisions may no longer be suitable for us. That's why you should avoid making extreme financial decisions. That way, you can be sure that you'll stick to your plan and not regret them in the future, even when they change. We often hear the saying that nothing is free. Whatever is worthwhile will always have a cost associated with it. The price of financial success may not just be money, but also other intangible things, such as volatility, doubt, uncertainty, regret, and fear. You must define your own cost of success and be ready to pay whatever price comes along with it. Different investors have different financial goals. Some have short-term goals, while others have long-term goals. However, the problem comes when one investor takes cues from another investor who plays a completely different game. This is often what causes economic bubbles and financial losses. Define the game you're playing and make sure your actions are not being influenced by others. The tendency to believe in things that have a low probability of being true is especially dangerous when it comes to finance, as people can end up making risky bets based on appealing fictions. That is, something you desperately want to be true because of its potential huge upside. It's important to be aware of your own biases and not let them cloud your judgment. It is why room for error is so important. The higher the stakes, the wider the room for error should be to reduce risk and ensure success. I hope you learned something about how to be rich today and how to stay rich. To learn more, we recommend reading The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see our next video.